Hey everybody, I'm making this video. Just moved my office around here at the house, and I'm now upstairs in my newly decorated office. I know it looks like I'm probably a terrorist in Afghanistan jail, but I'm actually up in my office. Today we're talking about spending habits and how to be a good steward about how you spend your money. In Luke chapter 15, you're going to find the story of the prodigal son, and in that story, the youngest son takes all of his inheritance early, and he runs off to the big city, and he squanders all of his money on riotous living. And as the text spells out, he had an awful lot of friends as long as he was spending the money and he was buying the drinks. But as soon as all the money was gone, so was his friends, and he found himself basically living in the pig pen, living off the slop fed to the pigs. And a lot of people have spending habits that way. They squander all their money impulsively on various pleasures without really counting the cost of their spending. Solomon had an awful lot of wisdom when it came to managing money, including some words warning people about being poor stewards of their wealth. He says in Proverbs chapter 21, stupid people spend their money as fast as they get it. It's in the Good News Bible. In Ecclesiastes, he says, the more you have, the more you spend, right up to the limits of your income. Know anybody like that? Now that we've helped you get on a budget and we've began a plan to help you pay off your debt, how can you keep from backsliding back into this compulsive spending cycle that you've had? Well, the first tip that I would tell you is to make it a matter of prayer every day. When you do that, you actually will set yourself up to avoid the trappings of impulse spending, and you also help guard your heart against the temptation to spend. So make it a matter of prayer when you're thinking about how you spend your money. Secondly, I would tell you this. Replace your bad spending habits with good spending habits. If you're going to get rid of a bad habit, they say you need to replace it with a good habit or you'll fall right back into it again. So replace your bad spending habits with good spending habits. Value shop. When you're looking for certain deals on things you're buying, look for the coupons and look for the big discounts and things like that. Make a game out of it. Challenge yourself to save maybe a certain amount of money at the grocery store each week. They usually run you a ticket and they tell you, okay, well, you use your shopper's card and you had coupons and you saved this much. Make a game of it and maybe put your grocery coupon that saved the most money. Put it up on a bulletin board or on the refrigerator and challenge yourself to beat your personal best. So have some fun with it. Make a game out of it. One of the key contributors to poor spending habits is actually a wasteful attitude. We buy something on impulse and we never even really use it. I know a lot of people, they're eBay addicts. I mean, they're just constantly on eBay and they're constantly looking for something that's on sale. So they buy all the stuff. Well, it was only $5. It was only $10. Oh, I got this for $9.95. Whatever it is. But these wasteful impulse buying sprees that we go on really hurts us. Or sometimes we buy something and we want it, but we quickly tire of it. You're watching TV and you see the sports car commercial and the guy's driving the car and he's got the pretty girl and the hair's blowing back in the wind and they're driving through mountain scenery and everything's so beautiful, and so you feel like you need to have a convertible sports car, when in reality you probably need a 7-person minivan for you, the wife, and all the kiddies. So think about really how you're spending things, and is it an impulse, and how wasteful it might be. Because when you do those things, it really is. It's just a waste of money. Isaiah said, "Why do you spend money on that which doesn't satisfy?" Sometimes we fall victim to that old saying, keeping up with the Joneses. Our neighbor goes out and buys a new mower, and so we have to have an even newer and bigger mower. If he's got a 48-inch deck on his mower, you got to have a 60-inch deck on yours, and this kind of impulse spending is usually done by people that are just all around great wasters. They waste their time, they waste their resources, and they waste their money. Another way to save money is to manage your time better. That's right. That's what I said. Manage your time better. You ever heard the expression, time is money? Well, it really is. Time is money. Have you ever made a trip someplace only to get home and say, oh man, I wish I'd remembered I needed to stop by so-and-so, or I needed to get such and such, or I could have filled the car up, and then you got to go back out. All because you didn't think or you didn't plan. Have you ever thrown something out just to realize right after you did that you still needed it? And if you didn't need it, did you give any thought to, could it be recycled? Could it be repurposed? Or could it be donated? I mean, one of the neat things that's going around today, and I've seen a lot on Pinterest and other stuff, is people are making all these cool things out of wooden pallets. Well, just so happens I have a ready resource for wooden pallets. I get them all the time. And so those are really neat ways. I repurpose them. We've made lawn furniture out of it and planter boxes out of it and lawn tables, all kinds of neat stuff out of pallets. Could you repurpose something? Could you somehow use it and not waste the resource? Ben Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. And he was absolutely right. Have you ever purchased an elaborate gift for someone when really something handmade or crafted and created with love and forethought might have been much more appreciated? You see, in our house, most of the time when we give gifts to one another, it has to be used, handmade, or something you don't need anymore. And my wife's a stickler about that. That's a good thing for me. And now I know you're probably thinking that we're cheapskates, but we've actually come to the point where we kind of enjoy the challenge of giving to others by putting careful thought into it. And when we do that, we actually show them how much they really matter to us. See, anybody can go to the department store and get a big gallon bottle of perfume. Any dummy can get aftershave or a tie. But it takes effort to be creative and to be thoughtful. Let me tell you something I did several years ago. I actually did this several years in a row. For Valentine's Day, I didn't do Valentine's Day. I did Valentine's month. For the entire month of February, my challenge was to provide my wife something every single day that showed her that I loved her. And the challenge was that I couldn't spend any more than $1 a day. And that was a real challenge. But we had a lot of fun with it. There was one time I got her I spent 25 cents and I got her a big gumball ring, the kind with the big giant candy thing on the top. And with that, I wrote her a little note with it and asked her if she'd be my steady. You know what she did? She wore that ring to work the next day and told everybody about it. Now, of course, all the ladies loved it and all the guys hated me for it. One time I got her, I wanted to get her a fortune cookie. I was gonna cook some Chinese food that night for dinner, and I was gonna get her a fortune cookie, and I was gonna put a custom fortune in it. You can really do that. And so I went to a local Chinese restaurant, and I told them what I was doing. They thought it was so much fun that they actually gave me a whole bag of fortune cookies and didn't even charge me for it. So it cost me nothing. And you have to get a little paper clip and you fish out the old fortune, and you have to make another little one. You stick it back in there. So I wrote her a really neat fortune for that. And then one year it was leap year, so we had an extra day, and for that I got her one of those a little wind-up kangaroo that hopped and hopped, and then it would flip over. And I just wrote a little note with it that just says, "I'm leaping with love for you." And for years she kept that on our bathroom sink and saw that. And I know it's all corny and it's romantic foo-foo stuff, but she thought more of that effort than if I had gone down to the flower store and bought a dozen roses that would be dead in a week. So just think about what kind of thoughts that you can put into getting gifts for other people. Now, another bad spending habit is carrying around large amounts of cash and paying cash for everything. And I know I've mentioned that already in an earlier episode, but I want you to understand how hard it is to maintain a good spending discipline if you can't track where your money goes. For some people, money just seems to burn a hole in their pocket. If they have it, they spend it. They find something to spend it on. They can walk by a hot dog vendor and say, "Man, I've been just wanting a hot dog," and they'll go spend $3 on a gourmet hot dog at a hot dog stand or something. when they didn't really need that. It probably wasn't healthy for them in the first place. I don't usually carry more than $10 cash in my pocket. In fact, most of the time I carry no cash on me. I make my lunch almost every day, or I eat at home. We rarely eat out. I use my debit card to pay for gasoline and incidentals that might come up through the day, so it comes right out of my checking account. And just as a family, again, we eat in more than we eat out, and that saves us a ton of money each weekend. Usually, I could buy groceries for an entire week what it costs us to feed our family eating out just for one night. And on top of all that, I'm a better chef than most of the cooks in my hometown anyway. So I'm eating better anyhow, and I'm saving money. The point is this: learn to track what you spend. Before you go out and spend all your hard-earned cash, ask yourself this question: do I really need this right now? Ecclesiastes 6:9 says, enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. In Hebrews it says, be content with what you have. Think about whether or not this purchase will make it difficult to pay your bills this month or next. And if it does, don't buy it. If it's a big item, take the time to sleep on it. Pray about it. Really make a determination whether or not this is something you need to spend your money on. I believe God grants and withholds financial blessing from us based just on our ability to be wise stewards with our money. I know an awful lot of people out there that make very little money, but they seem to have everything they have, or they seem to have everything they need, and they're happy. They're happy in life. And on the flip side of that, I know people that make an awful lot of money and they're miserable. They seem to be living paycheck to paycheck, struggling just to get by. Your faithful stewardship will help you make the most of the money that you have. When you throw away money as though it grows on trees, there's going to be plenty of people around to help you spend it. But when the money's all gone, where are those people? Where are they at when you need help? Develop some really smart spending habits, and that'll help keep you on the right financial path. We'll see you next episode. God bless.